You've been taught that staying silent is noble, that it keeps you safe, that it makes you the bigger person. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you stay silent during gossip, you know that moment when you just freeze up, your stomach tightens a little, and you nod along? You're not protecting yourself. You're training people to see you as someone they can use. Your silence isn't passive, it's a signal. And that signal is costing you respect and credibility. The moment gossip starts, you're being tested. And how you respond determines whether people respect you or keep coming back for more. Every time someone starts talking badly about another person, and you just stand there, maybe nod, maybe give an awkward laugh, you're signing a social contract. You're telling that person, I'm a safe audience for your negativity. Most people think avoiding the awkwardness is the smart play. But there's a paradox here. That short-term comfort creates long-term social weakness. You train people to see you as someone who won't stand up for your own standards. This isn't about being the nice person. It's a strategic power play. Because true respect isn't given to people who just go along with everything. It's earned by people who have clear, non-negotiable boundaries. When you refuse to participate, you're not being difficult. You're making a statement about your own self-respect. And people notice that, even if they never say it out loud. They start to see you as someone with integrity, someone who can't be easily manipulated. That's the real power move. The psychology of the trap. Why gossip is so hard to resist. So why is this so difficult? Why do we get pulled into these conversations even when we know they're wrong? Here's the key. Your brain is wired to crave gossip. It's not a moral failing. It's a biological trap that's wired into us. Psychologist Robin Dunbar has a theory that gossip actually evolved as a form of social glue. For our ancient ancestors, sharing information about who you could trust, who was helpful, and who was a threat was essential for survival. It bonded the tribe. The problem is, in the modern world, this ancient bonding mechanism has been corrupted. Instead of building trust, it now breeds insecurity and mistrust. It creates cliques and erodes credibility. There's a moment that happens in almost every social group. Someone pulls you aside, makes you feel special, creates this false sense of connection, and you don't realize until later that you've been set up. There's actually a name for this psychological trap: triangulation. This is when someone tries to pull you into a fake alliance by putting a third person down. Imagine this. You're at work and a coworker pulls you aside. Hey, I know you work with Sarah too. Doesn't she drive you crazy? Like last week, she completely shut down my idea in the meeting. In that moment, it feels flattering. You feel like you're being trusted with inside information. It creates this false sense of connection between you and the gossiper. But here's the critical rule you must remember. If they gossip with you, they will gossip about you. It's not a bond of trust. It's a bond of shared negativity. And when you realize you've been used, that flattering moment turns to betrayal. But here's what changes everything. There are 3 specific moves that shut down gossip instantly, without confrontation, without awkwardness, and without anyone even realizing you've done it. This is why direct confrontation usually backfires. If you try to shut it down head-on by saying, "Hey, that's not cool," you trigger what psychologists call the backfire effect. The person feels attacked and doubles down. They don't see themselves as a gossip. They think they're just telling it like it is, or being funny. So you end up being labeled as too serious or can't take a joke, and suddenly you're the new topic of conversation. The real goal isn't to fight the gossip. It's to refuse to enter the arena entirely. You can't control what other people say, but you have complete control over your response, and that's where your power lies. 3 non-confrontational power moves. Most people stumble through these by accident, but when you use them intentionally, you don't just stop the gossip, you actually gain respect in the process. Here's the catch. Refusing to enter the arena doesn't mean you have to stand there in awkward silence. You have options. These aren't confrontations, they're psychological maneuvers designed to shut down the gossip while elevating your own social standing. Which of these 3 moves resonates most with you? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and your answer tells me exactly which strategy you're most likely to actually use. Let's start with the first one, the kindness redirect. Imagine someone starts complaining about a coworker. They say, "Ugh, Mark is so difficult to work with." The default reaction is to either agree or give a non-committal nod. Here's the before and after contrast. Most people either freeze or reluctantly agree, which keeps the gossip going. But your power move is different. You respond with calm, positive observation. You say, "Really? I've always found him to be pretty focused on getting things right." Watch what happens next. The gossiper's energy immediately shifts. Their voice might drop, they pause for a second, their momentum breaks. Instead of continuing with more complaints, they have to process your unexpected response. You're not attacking the gossiper. You're not defending Mark. You're simply stating your own different experience. The psychology here is powerful. Gossip feeds on shared negativity. It's a bonding mechanism built on a common enemy. By introducing a positive or neutral data point, you create cognitive dissonance. You remove the fuel. The gossiper is suddenly faced with a perspective that doesn't match their negative narrative, and the conversation hits a wall. The result is you've elevated the tone without a single argument. But what if that's not enough? What if the gossiper doubles down? They come back with, "Well, you must be the only one. He was so rude to me last week." This is where you deploy the second move, the neutrality frame. Your response is empathetic neutrality. You say something like, "Could be. Maybe he was just under a lot of stress that day." Or, "Everyone has off days, I suppose." You're not agreeing with the gossip, but you're also not directly contradicting it anymore. You're reframing the behavior with a possible neutral explanation. This drains the emotional charge from the accusation. In Stoic philosophy, this aligns with the concept of sympathia, the understanding that people act from causes, not pure malice. They're stressed, tired, or insecure. When you frame it that way, the juicy drama evaporates. You shift the dynamic from us versus them to maybe there's more to the story. You've neutralized the emotional charge. Now it's time for the exit strategy. This is the move that separates amateurs from masters of social navigation, because it ends the conversation smoothly without anyone realizing they've been redirected. This is your exit strategy. You smoothly pivot the entire conversation to a neutral or positive subject. You say, "Anyway, how's that project of yours going?" Or, "Did you see the new update they just sent out?" The key is to follow through immediately. Ask a follow-up question about the new topic to lock in the shift. This is social aikido. You're not resisting the gossip head-on. You're redirecting the conversational energy effortlessly. You're guiding the interaction toward a more constructive place without anyone feeling called out or embarrassed. It's a clean, professional, and powerful way to signal that certain topics are off-limits in your presence. When neutrality isn't enough, advanced boundary setting. Now, if you're dealing with someone who respects boundaries, the 3 moves are all you need. But what about the people who don't? Sometimes you're dealing with a truly toxic person, someone who seems to thrive on negativity and drains your energy every time you interact. In these cases, neutrality might not be enough. You need a stronger boundary. This is when you implement the gray rock method. The goal is to become as interesting as a gray rock. You give minimal, unemotional responses. Here's how it plays out in real conversation. Gossiper: "Did you hear what happened with Jessica at the party last weekend?" You: "No." Gossiper: "Well, she completely embarrassed herself." You: "Huh." Gossiper: "Yeah, she had way too much to drink and started arguing with the host." You: "Okay." Gossiper: "Anyway, I guess it's not that interesting." You offer no emotional feedback, no follow-up questions, no fuel for their drama. See what happened there? The gossip just died. No reaction equals no payoff. And without a payoff, there's no reason for them to keep going. Psychologists often recommend this for dealing with persistently manipulative or attention-seeking personalities. When the gossip gets no reaction, no shock, no agreement, not even a satisfying disagreement, it simply dies. There's no payoff for them. And here's the subtle power move. You're not engaging, but you're also not being rude. You're just boring. And boring is kryptonite for gossips. It's freeing not to have to perform or pretend to care. They need a reaction to feel alive. Without it, they lose interest and move on to someone who'll give them one. If this gray rock technique just clicked for you, let me know. Hit the like button. It helps me know which strategies are landing hardest. But what if the person doesn't care about subtlety? What if they keep pushing, keep testing, keep trying to pull you in? There's one final move that works on even the most persistent gossips. It requires accepting one uncomfortable moment, but it teaches people a lesson they won't forget. If even the gray rock method feels like it's not protecting your peace, you have one final, direct option. Saying this out loud can feel scary, your heart might race, but it takes courage. It involves accepting a moment of awkwardness for long-term peace. You state a calm, polite boundary. You can say, I'm really trying to focus on more positive topics lately. Mind if we talk about something else? Here's what typically happens next. There's usually a brief pause. The person might look surprised or slightly embarrassed. They might say, "Oh, sure, sorry," and quickly change the subject. Or they might try one more time. "I was just saying," but when you don't engage, they'll drop it. You say it with a neutral tone, not an accusatory one. And here's the important part. If it gets awkward, that's okay. That awkwardness is the social correction that teaches people how to treat you. In a week, they'll think twice before gossiping around you. Protecting your mental energy is a higher priority than avoiding a few seconds of discomfort. This is the ultimate power move because it prioritizes your well-being above social convenience. The respect dividend. So here's the final truth. Gossip, at its core, is never really about the person being talked about. It's a test for you. It tests your discipline, your integrity, and most of all, your self-respect. When you master these individual moves, the kindness redirect, the neutrality frame, the topic shift, you're not just handling gossip, you're building a reputation for integrity that compounds over time. Your real power lies in becoming the person who listens carefully, speaks kindly, and simply refuses to join the noise. Picture this person in a social group. When gossip starts, they don't lean in or add fuel. They might change the subject or offer a neutral perspective. People notice this consistency. They start to see this person as someone who can't be manipulated into taking sides. Colleagues trust them with real problems because they know conversations won't become office gossip. Friends confide in them because they know their privacy will be respected. That quiet strength doesn't go unnoticed. It's how you build a reputation for integrity that pays dividends in respect for years to come. And here's what's remarkable. This reputation compounds. The more you refuse to gossip, the more people see you as trustworthy. The more trustworthy you become, the more people confide in you. And the more people confide in you, the more influence you actually have. Not through manipulation, but through genuine respect. So test one of these strategies this week. And if you want the advanced moves, the ones that work on even the most toxic people, subscribe to Think Power. Next week, we're breaking down how to handle the people who refuse to change, and it's a game changer.